key. I've had to do this a few times, mostly because of battery issues. However, this is a response to Australian. I'm pretty sure I got that right. And I know this was posted a long time ago, and it took me a long time to getting around to doing this. However, that's my schedule. I also think it's also beneficial, with a bit of hindsight, to take a look at the issue in a broader context. Now, I agree with you. Electrojet dude. What happened to Dr. Lima? Messed up. Wasn't an abuse of power? We both agree on that. Does the country need security? Absolutely. Is one of the best indicators that a security agency or an intelligence agency is doing its job well, the fact that there are no terrorist attacks? I believe so. Is that a great investment of my tax money? I was proud to pay it. So, hey, you know what? We are both on the same wavelength. Do we need something like the Department of Homeland Security? Do we need the fusion centers? In fact, I would argue no. Bit of a leap there. Try and hear me out on this one, because believe me, I took notes and the whole shtick. So, without going into... Sorry, I always fidget with my hands, but I'm going to try not to go into too much detail on this whole thing. But prior to 9/11, because let's face it, there's a world before and there's the world after. It's a simple fact. You can't get around the psychology of it, or the politics. It's as simple as that. You had the Central Intelligence Agency monitoring foreign communications. You had the National Security Agency monitoring internal communications. You had the Federal Bureau of Investigations handling basically interstate, that is, between the states, policing efforts, along with the Federal Marshals, I believe it is. Just like the movie with Tommy Lee Jones. So these guys had it pretty well locked down. Technically speaking, you could probably remove the NSA from the equation and still have gotten a pretty safe country. Point of fact. The Air Force was still maintaining, and is still maintaining, the greatest first strike capacity on the planet. God only knows I've got them black sites. I don't even tell you all of that, because it's off the books. The United States Army was doing its good job, the Navy was patrolling the seas, and you guys pretty much have a monopoly on space, short of some European interests and the Chinese. Look up those little microchips they put in everything that basically dial back home. Fascinating stuff, especially when you consider there's a lot of Chinese microchips in satellites. But that's not the point. The point is, Homeland Security was set up in '97, I recall, under Bill Clinton. It was only publicly unveiled after 9/11. Most people don't know that. If you didn't know it before, you know it now. So, the real question is, did we need yet another layer of security? And technically there's a sub-layer of Homeland Security. Do all the defense departments, well, I mean that, departments of the United States federal government that handle defense, do these require their own intelligence agencies? Because believe me, there is an Army intelligence agency, there is the NSA, the Department of Homeland Security, doing its thing with its own intelligence division. That's like a whole subset. Does it need it? I don't believe so. In my notes, I'm going to post some links over here, I've actually written out some extraordinarily well-researched information on the history of terrorism. I'm taking it from the Alex Jones School. You can make of that what you will. However, the research is there, and you can always check the sources. If you have any factual sourced evidence to say that anything I'm saying is wrong, believe me, I want to see it. And if you can actually show me that Homeland Security has specifically made anyone safer, I'd like to hear about it, because the few times people have been busted for terrorist cells, usually it's a bunch of homeless guys, and there's one guy cooking up the bombs and leading the group and gathering the members. That one guy almost inevitably turns out to be a federal agent doing a sting. Now, it occurs to me, and I'm not saying there aren't real extremist groups out there, they're not all militias, they're not all they're not all right, but what I am saying is that if you actually look at the whole history of the thing, a lot of the times the feds are in charge. Look at Oklahoma City. There was actually a guy protesting the protesting to display open carry laws. He had, I think it was an AR-10 on his back. Hardcore stuff. And someone asked him, how would everyone openly carrying guns stop something like Oklahoma City? His response was, how did us trusting in government make it do any better? So, do we need the level of security of Homeland Security and all the post 9/11 ramping up? I don't believe so. Because if you read the documents, they want to have airport-style security, little checkpoints in shopping centers. They want to have it on the street. They want to have it any place they can. And they're going to have us all on camera. Believe me, I know you've been keeping an eye on politics, and like you said, you don't trust George W. Bush's election, so I also recommend the film American Dictators if you want a bit more of a story on that. Anyway, I just wanted to bring a bit of perspective on this, broaden the view of it, and truthfully, if this has been of some help, brilliant. If not, well, I'm sure this will pretty much get forgotten. Like I said, I wanted to give this a decent amount of time just to make sure that it didn't become overly hyped. Have a good afternoon.